Hey guys, welcome to the podcast where I, Coach Mike Payton, invite other coaches on. I interview them, I ask them questions, I hopefully get to learn things from them, and I hope you guys will learn something along the way. Let's get right into the podcast.
That's great. I didn't know that you could only have like 200.
And it depends on the person.
Yeah.
So like a girl I went to school with, she was pregnant. We were pregnant at the same time. But her doctor, based on just like her medical history, she could only have 100 milligrams. So it's like 200 is the max. Like
It's max.
I'm sure you could go over it, would probably be okay. But the recommended is like 200, don't go over. But then if you have different medical conditions or whatever, your doctor can kind of be like, hey, maybe let's not do that much.
Why is it 200? Like, is it?
I don't know. They said with 200, so I said,
So,
200. You went to school for this, I did not. So whatever you say.
Right. That's
But
really
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I was like, but
Yeah.
it's like the things you don't think about. It's like, oh, caffeine.
Yeah, because like alcohol, like makes sense. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to drink
I've been
alcohol
so
while you're pregnant, but
Like,
really?
oh, it's insane.
Huh.
So one of my husband's cousins, they have 4 kids. She's pregnant with their 4th right now. She was like, after our first kid, I started drinking with all the other pregnancies. She's like, I have a glass of wine every night. They turned out fine. Like, oh, I mean, okay.
I'm glad it worked out for you.
I'm not gonna do that, but you have fun with
Yeah.
that. I'm like,
Glass of wine every night.
but it's not. I forget. Some country over. I want to say it's like Greek or something. I don't know. One of those over there on that side.
Maybe European.
Yeah, they say to have like a glass of red wine, like a very small glass of red wine while you're pregnant. That it's supposed to like help something in the red wine. So, I mean, other countries do it.
I've heard good things. I've heard like out of most alcoholic things, like
Red wine is like the
red
best.
wine
Yeah,
is the best for
Yeah.
you.
I'm like, this is great in a sense. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Got
because
vitamins and stuff, I guess. I don't know.
I'm sure it has like antioxidants in there.
That makes
I
sense.
would think
that
because
makes,
the
that
red,
makes a lot of
because yeah, because like your like tart cherries and like your darker fruits have antioxidants, or like bell peppers. Red bell peppers have the most antioxidants and like
So
the
like
most
your red-
nutritional value. Yeah, that deeper color.
Yeah.
I don't know if the color has anything to do with it, but like a bell pepper, red and orange have more nutrient value than the yellow.
Interesting.
And I read that one and I'm like, okay, so
I mean, they
red
both
and orange
taste good
it
too.
is? Yeah.
Red
It's
team's
like
always
more
good.
vibrant, more like
Yeah. It's like, oh, I want to eat that. Versus
yeah. This green thing or whatever, like, ooh, red, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. You're helping with the powerlifting meet tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it might. Yes.
I'm helping with that too. It's the first powerlifting meet I've ever been to, actually.
It is. Have you done anything in the powerlifting world ever? Okay.
Except for like research into like how to do the lifts, but like
I played a lot of sports.
Mm.
Powerlifting is by far one of the coolest because it's such, especially here, like Larry's team is insane. I mean, there's like 50, there's so many people now, like it's grown so much. But it's an individual sport, but at the same time, you have this huge group of like people cheering you on. And it's, so the meets here are much more like alive and like vibrant per se, like just more enthusiastic.
More
Than,
rowdy.
more, right, yeah, no, really, it really
Yeah.
is.
I see them here. It's like you guys are a crowd.
Yes,
I love it.
and that's how the meets are. Like everybody, so, and there's people who come from all over state and out of state, even just to the powerlifting meets here.
Wow.
Like it's, yeah, Larry is, if you have the name Larry Pacifico behind you in powerlifting, you're like Chef's Kiss, Top Nut, the Goat, you know, what all those, yeah. He's 9-time world champion for powerlifting. Yeah, like he's the dude. But it's so cool because it's like each lift you're by yourself. You're up there alone on the platform, but you have all this whole team of like from 15-year-olds to 65-year-olds, like saying just like cheering you on and like in your corner. So it's really cool that like this is my, like, I'm the one doing it, but I have this whole like community and family behind me,
Like
kind of
pushing
you and like cheering you on, and like so that like that team kind of feel like that family team, like it's really cool. But no, it's super fun. The powerliftings are super fun.
That's awesome.
It's so
Did
fun.
you do powerlifting?
Yeah, so I lifted with Larry from 2019 to 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I stopped.
Is that how you knew like Mike and?
No, so I have been with them. Well, so when they were at Vandalia Rec Center, when Will had the boxing class at the rec center, my mom started going. So I went a few times. So we've been with them since they were just at the rec center.
Yeah.
And then they won. And so she's been coming to them since she's been with them since then. And then in 2019, I started coming like full time here and got into powerlifting and everything.
Wow.
So
Okay. So you didn't start powerlifting until they were here.
So they were here, yes.
Okay.
So I lifted. So I did travel year round, so like soccer for 10 years. Then I swam, I did basketball, and then I was pole vaulter for 6 years.
Dang.
So yeah.
You've done it all.
So I've done it all. Yeah. Oh yeah. Any sport. I used to dance, but and not fun. That was not my goal.
Okay. It wasn't.
We are not flexible. We're not. Yeah. What is it? The like elegant, like graceful. Not in my vocabulary. Yeah. So, but so I went to Northmont. So with powerlifting, if you're on like a varsity sport, so with powerlifting, with pole vaulting and swimming, you have to take weightlifting. So I started weightlifting in high school with them. And then my pole vaulting coach was a gymnast. He had a crazy style of training. So we did like all the weird stuff that Sam does. It's like that mixed in with powerlifting was kind of his style of like conditioning and training.
That's really fast.
So yeah, so I have like such a weird training background. So then I was like, how much are you going? Like, I want to see how much weight I can really move. Like, so yeah. So I did that, and then I have endometriosis. So that when that got pretty bad, and we knew we were going to start trying to have a baby, so then I was like, okay, we're going to put powerlifting on the back burner. That way, because I would have cysts that would rupture, like the pressure of the squat, or like that pulling of just that internal pressure of it, of the movement itself, was just too painful. So I was like, let me not mess myself up before I try and have a baby so that I can still get pregnant.
That makes
So
sense.
I probably won't powerlift again for a while, but it is fun.
Dang. Yeah, it looks like a really fun sport.
It's so fun. And it's just like, it's empowering in yourself just to see like, oh, I just added on like 20 pounds in the last like 3 weeks on my squat or something. Like, it's just cool to be like, I did that.
Yeah.
Like, I did that. I just squatted 400 pounds or whatever. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Or just like I've talked to, like whenever people come in and like they start exercising, like especially with, I feel like a lot of ladies come into the gym and like they don't know how much they can lift.
Right.
And then you give them weight, and
Yeah.
you give them maybe a lightweight at first, and then build their confidence, and then you give them something heavier, and they're like, I didn't even know I could lift that. I'm like,
You're stronger than you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like powerlifting is very similar.
It really,
yeah, I can do that.
Yes, and that's like just the fitness world in general. It's so, when you really start it, like, you're doing it the right way, not not
just throwing weight around.
Not just throwing weight. Yeah, when you have a purpose and some knowledge behind it, it's so cool to see someone go from like, or even with an injury, they come in, I can't do this range of motion because of this injury, or I can't go past this weight because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And then they hit that goal, or they hit that whatever it is with, and it's like, oh, now I can lift 50 pounds on this movement, or I can actually perform this movement even with that injury. It's so cool just to see their face light up. Like they're so like they're proud and they're surprised.
The progress.
Yes. Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah. It's like that like the endorphins get released. You're like, I did that.
Right. Yeah. It's like
it makes you want to keep doing it.
You did it. Like no one, like that was all you. Like, you know, you can take full credit for that, but I accomplished that. Like, I set my mind to it and I made it happen and I did it. Like,
exactly. It's such an awesome thing. Even if you have like a coach, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I can coach you all day, but if you don't like do it,
yes, nothing's gonna happen.
Nothing's gonna happen. Yeah. So how did you get into like personal training?
So
how did that shift there?
yeah. So I'm in the military. So 2018 to 2019, I deployed to Europe. So when I was gone, so before that, I was in college to become a vet tech.
Okay.
So when I went on my deployment, I was like, okay, this year I'm going to decide if I continue school to become a vet tech or if I change it up and do something different when I get home. So I decided to keep on it, went on that path. I absolutely love, like, vet medicine is my path. Like, I love it. If I could do that every day, I totally would. But it's not sustainable for just having a family and just the hours. It's insane.
That makes sense.
So I knew that, like, at that time, so I did the total what you're not supposed to do when you're deployed. I met my husband there and we started dating. The total, like, cliche, you know, don't get in a relationship while you're deployed, but it worked out, you know. We're proving them wrong.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Because, I mean, when you're gone, it's slim pickings, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So things happen. But so that happened. And so then when I got home, I decided to continue with becoming a vet tech. So I actually worked down the road, down that way, at Dixie Vet Clinic.
Okay.
So I worked there for 4 years. But then, I hate school. Like, it's not for me. It's not for me. So, and then at that point, I was like, you know, we want to have a family. We got married, and it's like, I know I want to have a family. I know when I'm pregnant, I cannot work these crazy hours. Like, it's a very physical labor. Like, just, you know, you're wrestling dogs all day, or you're standing for 10 hours a day in surgery, you know, whatever it is. So I was like, I know physically when I'm pregnant, I can't do this. Like, that's not going to happen. And then once we had kids, I was like, I don't want to be gone all the time. So I was like, this isn't a long-term thing that's going to work for me. So I got my phlebotomy certification, and I worked at Kettering and Dayton Children's as a phlebotomist. So I was like, no, I draw blood on furry, jumping animals that want to eat me, so why not try people?
At least they don't want to eat me.
They don't want to eat me. And I'm like, sit still, I'm going to shove this needle in your arm. So I did that for about a year and a half. And then while I was pregnant, my mom had started her, like, nonprofit boxing thing that she does. With Bubbles, So she was doing that and kind of looking into all these certifications. She's like, well, maybe I should get my personal training stuff, and just kind of bouncing that around. And I was like, no, pipe dream. I was like, I think it'd be so fun to be a personal trainer. Like, I think I'd be so good at that, you know? And she's like, just do it. Why not? Like, go for it. And she had mentioned it to Will. And so he called me. He's like, if you get your personal training license, he's like, what? Like, done. You're in the gym. And I was like,
Opportunity.
Yeah, I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. Like, no questions asked. If you get it, obviously you're working here. I was like, okay. So then I'm like, okay, so make my own schedule, work as much or as little as I want, and still be able to be home with my kids, and, you know, so, yeah. Long story short, that's how it happened.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, I only started training people in December, but it has been so nice. Like, being able to only work 3 days a week. And even the days I'm working, like, I'm still home with my kid. So it was like, I'm like a glorified stay-at-home mom. But it's nice because I get to have that and be there with him and not have to worry about sending him to daycare or, you know. So it's really nice.
That is really cool. Yeah. Unless you walk around.
Oh, yeah, because I'm here all the time.
It's like, kind of cool
you're
to see.
going to grow up here whether you like it or not. You have no decision in this.
It's cool, like, I think you put something on, like, your story or something on Instagram about, like, having kids see like their parents working out or seeing people exercise and stuff, like making it normal.
Yeah, and there's a lot of studies, especially for like if you are a stay-at-home mom or if you are with your kids a lot, that say, well, I mean anything, just monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Like your kids see you working out, then they're gonna be like, oh, you know, it's normal for them. It's something that they grew up with. And so, and especially if you involve them in it, not just have them sitting there watching. So like, you know, if you're doing crunches or you're doing, you know, something simple like that, hold them while you do it. Or, you know, you throw them up if you're, you know, like you involve them into the workout, make them a part of it. So then it's something that they can recognize, like mentally, like we do this together.
Yeah.
Like this is something that me and my mom used to do, and it makes it puts like a feeling behind it, like, you know, that they can resonate with. Like, oh, when I was like, I loved doing this with my mom or with my dad or whatever. So I think that's super cool, especially for women, because it's so, you have a baby and they're like, oh, you bounce right back. Like, oh, it's been 2 years and you still look like you're pregnant. Like, you know, it's something that's so controversial and it's hard. Like postpartum sucks.
I believe it.
It is definitely, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like not having the baby. That, I mean, in the moment, that was the hardest thing I've ever done. But then looking back at it, I'm like, I do that 20 times. Like, but it's that you're different. Like once you have a kid, you are mentally, physically, like just your complete being. You're different.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you change, and it's hard. And the world that we're in now, all the social media and the boxes that you have to fit in or check, you know, it's so, I mean, and I'm sure it's like that for men too, but especially once you become a mom, it's like you're judged to an extra, there's like a new tier of it that it's, as a woman, that it's like, oh, well, your body doesn't look like this, or you don't act like this, or you don't do this with your kid. Well, now you're a bad mom, and you look horrible. Like, you know,
a lot of
like,
that is
yeah.
I believe
that. But it's so fun. Like it's so worth it. But it's like it sucks, but it's great.
Yeah. I was talking with my girlfriend not too long ago because I was telling her that we were going to do this.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, "That's such a cool idea," and I was like, "Right." And something she was saying is similar to what you're saying, where it's like there's this mindset in the culture where it's like you have to like fit this like I don't know, stereotype of a way a woman should look, and then you have a baby, and it's like, no, I can't.
Right now, I'm not that.
Yeah, I'm not that.
Yeah.
Like, and I can see that being like really, really difficult.
And it's so mental. Like, so like my husband, he's like, how do you get so bent out of shape over that? Or I'm like, you know, these pants don't fit, or this shirt, or, you know, if it does fit, it just doesn't feel the same or something, you know, something so simple as my shirt feels different. Then you get in your head over that and you're like, why doesn't it? Am I too fat? Am I too, you know, whatever, like, why don't I fit into this? Why doesn't this feel right? You just, like you tear yourself down. And I mean, anybody does that, having a kid or not having a kid. Like, we are our worst, like, at judger. Like, you know, you look in the mirror, you don't look at, oh, I look good today. You pick out, this is what I don't like, this is what I want to fix, this is what is wrong. Like, you always look at what's wrong with yourself. So then you add in all those hormones and all those feelings, so then it's like, oh, I look horrible times 20. Like, so
That's rough. Yeah. So were you exercising and training while you were pregnant? Okay.
Yeah. Which I feel like it's becoming more common.
Yeah.
Even just when I was pregnant. I mean, my kid's he'll be 8 months old next week. But it's like more people are, I think, just learning that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's safe. Like, and you should. Like, it is so beneficial. Especially because the whole time you're growing this human in you, you're expanding, you're changing, your bones are changing, like your hips and your pelvis is expanding to prepare to push them out. Like, so as you're growing and changing, you should be exercising to help yourself for labor. Not so much I'm trying to keep my muscle, or I'm trying to, you know, help myself on the end of it, which I mean you are, but what I really found beneficial was finding exercises that prepared my body more. Like, so if you're squatting, you change your stance. So instead of being a narrow stance, your hips aren't narrow anymore, like they're expanding. So you want to go wider and kind of go with your hips. So the farther along you get, the wider you go, or you change it to I'm kind of like box squatting or squatting onto a bench, like onto a surface instead of hitting that full range of motion, but to prepare and strengthen your hips to give birth.
Yeah.
So there's all these different breathing techniques to help with your dysrecti tearing. So I mean, no matter how many cords, no matter if you have a 12-pack before you get pregnant, or if you don't, you're gonna tear. Like your abdomen is significantly growing. It's gonna rip, it's gonna tear, it's gonna stretch, no matter how much preventative you do. So I have found a lot of pre and postnatal certified trainers that have like core guides and it's just breathing. Like there's certain core workouts for like healing your core postpartum. But while you're pregnant, it's breathing. It's just a breathing technique. Like to engage your entire abdominal so that you're still, so it's basically like you're trying to create that muscle memory as you're expanding. So it's like you think of it, it's connected before you're pregnant, and then as you grow, it's coming apart, and down that middle is your dysrecti. So as you grow apart, it's not being forced to use that muscle to like connect itself. So like if you're not pregnant, you're engaging and that muscle is like working and keeping connected, and you're activating it. But then when you're pregnant, you can't activate that. You can't work it. So it's, if you do a breathing technique where you're engaging that entire abdominal muscle, you're not bringing it together, but when you're breathing like that, you're contracting it, and you're reminding it, oh, I need to move. I need to activate myself. I need to engage myself, versus just sitting here like flapping in the wind.
Like and then atrophying.
So you're just basically flipping the light switch on and off. Hey, turn on real quick. Okay, turn off. Turn on real quick.
It's like, oh, you still exist. You still exist. Come on.
Exactly. And it's like, it's not a crazy workout. It's just breathing. And so then when you're postpartum, you do that same thing, but now you're adding in your core movements, but you're doing that breathing technique to protect yourself. That way you're not ripping it farther or overexerting yourself when you have this tear in your abdomen. So like personally, I tore, even with doing breathing techniques. And even people who are in much better shape than I was when they get pregnant, they still tear. It's just natural. Like you can't prevent it. Some people, genetics, some people don't, some people do. Like, you know. But it's simple things, and I never heard that from a doctor. None of your doctors ever tell you that.
That's fascinating.
They don't tell you, hey, do these exercises or do these stretches to help yourself. It's just stay active if you can, walk around, do exercises, but they never give you, here's how you need to modify it, or here's what you could do if this becomes painful. It's your life on your own to figure all of that out. So most people, it's, oh, this is scary. I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt myself or the baby. So then they don't do anything. So.
What do you think is like that the biggest hindrance, do you think, is like people are just afraid of it, or like what specific fears do you think are playing into that? Like not exercising.
I feel like it's just lack of knowledge at the end of the day. Like it's not, well, for instance, you go on Instagram, you go on TikTok, whatever, you're gonna find stuff about growing your butt. A bigger butt. Like that's, everybody wants bigger butt, or they want bigger legs or something. That's something that you can Google and it comes right up. Everyone talks about it, everyone knows about it. But exactly, like it's popular. But you're not gonna flip on a social media app that's gonna be like, here's workouts to do while you're pregnant. Here's things to prevent abdominal tearing. Here's things to help you in labor or to help you push. You know, it's not common. You don't talk about that every day. You know, I mean, how many conversations you pull up? You're like, so to help push your baby out, or you know, like it's just not a common.
It's like,
yeah,
I don't know what conversation topic.
yeah. So it's. I feel like at the end of the day, it's just lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then people who haven't worked out, who then hear, I need to be active, and you've got a 8-pound, 7-pound thing pushing on everything inside of you. You don't want to be active. Like,
it's like my organs.
Yeah.
I don't
actually, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who are overweight when they get pregnant, and it makes the pregnancy harder. And if you didn't work out before you become pregnant, that is not the time to start working out.
Really?
It is so much more dangerous to start lifting weights or anything while you're pregnant. Because, I mean, you have to change how you do it.
Yeah.
Even when you're only 2 months pregnant, you know, when no one can tell that you're pregnant, you have to change your form, you have to change your stance and how you do it, because it's already, I mean, so when you're pregnant, every internal organ you have shoves up under your ribs.
Yeah.
So it's like nothing inside of you is the same. Like, even if you're just standing straight, your back hurts, your hip hurts, like, because everything is pushing out and up. So it's like doing a bicep curl. It's different.
Yeah.
Pregnant versus not pregnant. Even if you are 6 weeks pregnant, like, it's still going to feel different.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating.
Yes.
That made me think of something. And it's like, you know those moments?
Yeah.
It's like, what am I thinking? Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, no, I feel that. What kind of like modification, like what kind of exercises would, or wait, no, I was going to ask you about, I don't remember. Well, never mind. What kind of exercises like do you think that people should do, like women should do whenever they're like pregnant? Like, because you said you would want to like do exercises that help you to be able to push and like a squat or like what kind of exercises?
So squats for sure. Even just body weight. Like, so the first half of my pregnancy, I could still have weights, still do like a barbell squat. But then as you get bigger, like the wider you are, because when you squat up, your thigh's going to hit your stomach when you have that belly in the way. So you have to go wider, that way your stomach can go between your legs.
Oh, okay.
So at the beginning of your pregnancy, you can pretty much still do a normal workout that you would. You just lower that intensity, because you don't want your heart rate to be super high and elevated, because then it'll elevate your babies and everything.
Okay.
So it's like, I did not do a lot of cardio. Like, cardio was walking or just like an incline walk on a treadmill, just very low key, very low intensity, not super heavy, hard hitting on the body. But for the most part, like exercise-wise, if you've been lifting before you become pregnant, you can carry that on through until you get a substantial belly. Then you really have to start changing your positions. But breathing technique, like just learning how to properly breathe, engaging that core. And there are core exercises that you can do while you're pregnant, but you definitely have to like research it, because you can't do a plank. Like, if you're pregnant, you should not do a plank.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So bad. Which I did not know that while I was pregnant, but I didn't do planks, so I hate them, so I didn't do it. But I don't know if it's just like the way of like, because you're so stretched out or what, but it's very frowned upon. So I don't have a good answer on that one, but they say not to do it.
They say not to do it.
Yeah.
That's good.
But there are a bunch of like core exercises that you can do while you're pregnant to strengthen that core, and like I said, like remind it to, hey, let's wake up a little bit, like keep it engaged, just to keep that muscle memory through it. to help it not tear and just to help you on the back end, like once you're recovering.
Gotcha.
Lower body stuff really helps with pushing. Like I found squatting and even deadlifting, not deadlifting while I was pregnant, but like RDLs or like a dumbbell deadlift to replace it. That way it's lower intensity, but that bearing because I mean when you deadlift, you don't think about it, but like you're engaging your pelvic floor when you deadlift.
Really? So I was going to ask about like pelvic floor exercises because I was talking to my girlfriend about this.
The breathing
she was talking about.
Activates your pelvic floor.
Really?
So if you're doing a full abdominal activation, your pelvic floor is activated in that.
I'm like sitting here tight.
I know, yeah. So I have my clients do that, and it's, if you had a kid 10 years ago, you can still, like, most, especially women, so like my mom, she had 3 kids. My sister tore her up, like, just wrecked her abdominal. It's still split, like, to this day, and she's gonna be 15 in a few months. It's still torn. Because no one tells you how to mend it, how to, what to do to truly heal and mend your tear. So like, but so you want to think of it as a balloon. So when you breathe in, you're expanding, or when you breathe out, you're expanding everything. And when you're breathing, I gotta think of it before I say it.
It's okay.
When you breathe in, you're expanding. When you breathe out, you're tightening that all in. So when you tighten it, you want to think of taking your belly button back to your spine and then tucking it up in your ribs. So when I learned how to do it, I would watch myself in the mirror and hold your finger like at your belly button and watch yourself. That way you can like visually see how your belly button moves.
Okay.
But that's you think you're expanding it all out and then you're tightening that all in. But when you take it in, you're taking it back and up. So it's like you flex it and then you squeeze it up in. It's weird, but once you start to get the hang of it, and you can there's like YouTube videos on it. It's pretty popular. If you know about it, but most people are like, oh, total core engagement. Yeah, I'm flexed. Like, ooh, bear down on it. Like, yeah, I engaged it. No, you did not. And that's something. I mean, it's a breathing. Like you're breathing through that movement. It's not a core workout, but you're working your core.
And that's the thing to do whenever you're pregnant? Okay.
So you do that while you're pregnant. I would do it like while I'm driving or when I'm in the shower or so like just while you're doing monotonous tasks throughout the day. Like it's not like, oh, I'm at the gym. I have to, do this breathing technique.
Okay. So it's like if you remember it, do it.
Yeah. So it's like I would set a goal like I'm gonna do this 20 times a day.
Okay.
And so like when you engage it, hold it for 5 seconds at a time, and then let it back out, and then take it back in, hold it for 5 seconds. Just do it like 20 times throughout the day. Bam. Check.
It works.
But and then while you're working out, you should do that. Like that's because any workout can be a core workout if you're properly engaging your core. So it's especially if you're a woman. Had kids, not had kids, you had kids 20 years ago, this is something you should be doing. And if you're a dude, like, you want to engage your core. Like, you really want to engage your core. And it helps with lower back pain. A lot of lower back pain I've learned because I'm in this boat is because your core is weak and your butt's weak. Like, your glutes are weak. So then your back is compensating for that unbalance, and you're all twisted. You're carrying a car seat. You're like, oh, yeah, 20-pound lugging it around. But so if you're properly engaging that core, you're doing a lat pull down, you're doing a squat, a deadlift, whatever. If you're engaging that core, you're taking that pressure off of your back. Everything's properly in line. You have good posture. And then you've got your form and everything, and it just aligns into having your proper form. Yeah. Helps you even more because then you're not, putting that arch in your back, twisted or being weird about it. Like it just everyone should do that.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Friends you don't know until you know.
So you research it or something? Yeah. What would you recommend to people, say, because you said that women should like start working out if they didn't work out before they were
Yes.
pregnant, what would you recommend them do? Like if they didn't work out and
Right.
they are pregnant
So-
and then they're like finding all this stuff out, like they
Right.
should have
Like,
been.
oh, I
doing
should have
it.
been active.
Yeah. Like,
So that walking is your best friend. I mean, walking is the best form of exercise at the end of the day. It's low impact, but you're moving, you're still getting your heart rate up. You could go walk up a hill, could have been the same as running on a treadmill, heart rate wise. Less impact on your knees, on your joints and everything, but you're still getting that same end result of you're raising your heart rate, you're getting yourself out and moving. So walking for sure. And then body weight movements and resistance band training.
okay.
Yes.
So like,
it's simple. It's not crazy heavy impact. You're not like, oh, I'm gonna lift
yeah.
100 pounds, or I'm gonna go.
Mm.
You can ease into it, and it'll still benefit you.
Okay.
And then once you're postpartum, you can't work out till you're about a month and a half to 2 months after you have a baby.
Okay.
So then you ease back into it. I was powerlifting before I had a kid. I did not deadlift until like a month ago after having a kid. So you start from crawling once you have a baby to working out again. Walking, you would never know how hard walking is. Like walking hurts at first. So you're easing your way back into it. So you're starting with a body weight movement or resistance band training. Then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna add 15, 20 pounds here and there. It's just don't start off right out the gate like you're crawling before you're running a marathon. So if you're doing resistance training while you're pregnant, you're gonna continue to do that once you have the baby. So it's beneficial. Even if you have been lifting before you had a kid, you should definitely still do resistance band training because it is low impact. It's not super strenuous on your body. But yeah, definitely take it slow. Don't be like, oh, I never worked out. I need to go heavy. I need to go hard. No. Do some research or reach out to a trainer or something. Like even a male trainer, you can tell like, hey, I'm pregnant. I need something low impact.
Yeah.
That's not gonna break me.
Yeah.
Like
even if a trainer doesn't necessarily know how to train a pregnant client like off the bat, I think that they're still equipped with certain things to where it's like they can do the research,
right.
And they can still because this is their job. Right. This is still their living, so I'm sure they'll.
Yeah, and I mean it's like
that.
if someone comes into you and they have a knee injury,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you figure out what they can and can't do,
Exactly.
and work around it to still hit the movement that squat would hit without doing a full squat. Like, you have that knowledge and you have that base to be like, or if you don't know it, you know who to ask or where to go to find out that way you're not giving them garbage and hurting them even more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So and I think so many women are just scared because it's not talked about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or then you do see people who are pregnant and they're doing burpees and they're deadlifting and they're doing all this like box jumps and all this crazy stuff. And you're like, am I supposed to do that? Like, should I be doing this? But I've never done that before. I don't know how to do that. Like, so it's hit or miss. It's like either you know what you can do or you have no idea, and then there's this whole world that you never knew existed.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm in it, and yep, we're just going with it. Like, it's wild.
Yeah,
like,
I believe it. Yeah. So what kind of exercises? So you talked about like how women should do like those breathing exercises. What kind of core exercises like postpartum would you recommend doing? For like that strengthening, like mending that, and getting it to be where it can be, and like what are reasonable expectations? Because I know a lot of times, like you said, it can be very challenging.
Yes.
What are reasonable expectations after?
So I'm in that right now with myself. I was like, by 6-7 months, I'm gonna be like so close back to where I was. Not at all. Like we were 8 months, and it's like, some days I still feel like I look like I'm pregnant, like to myself, you know? So you'll set these goals and you're like, oh yeah, that's okay, yeah. I say give yourself a year. Like, don't expect a night and day until you hit a year. Like, you know, you're not going 0 to 60 right out the gate. So you have 12 months, but you're not able to work out for the first 2 of those.
Yeah.
And then that first month back, you're going slow. Like, you're taking your time. It's weird. Even just doing a squat or bending down, it feels different. Like, your balance is off. You don't feel connected to yourself. So even if you're not working out, even just like day-to-day activities, putting your pants on, like you're having to hold on to a shelf or hold on to the wall or something because it's like you're off balance. You just feel shifted, like you're different because your body shifted. Like,
you're different.
You're different, yeah. Like, especially if you have a more petite frame before you get pregnant, after you've had a baby, your hips are wider. Even though you've healed and everything's back to where it should be, you're wider. Like, your build in itself is just different. So give yourself grace. At the end of the day, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
But like, be proud of yourself and not hard on yourself because you grew here. Like, for 9 months.
That's an achievement of itself.
Human inside of you. And I feel like so many women, they're just like, oh, I had the baby, now I'm working out again, and by 6 months, I need to have a flat stomach again, or I need to be back to somewhat where I was. And that's not realistic. Some people, yeah, they get back to that. But it's like, to be a fly on the wall, what was going on in their head while they were doing that? Like, were they nice to themselves? Like, how did they talk about themselves? Like, mentally, how are they? Because, I mean, I know they've got to be a little stressed or whatever, you know? Like, you can't, if you hit that, good for you, but are you okay? Like, did you take time to truly heal every part of you, not just how you look? So, it's like, a year is a good point to say, okay, once my kid's a year old, I want to be either, if you're looking at the pounds, I want to be back to where I was, or say I want to be 10 pounds lighter or something. Or if you're looking at your composition, I want to be back to the muscle mass that I had, or that look that I had, how my muscle looked on me. Once I hit a year, I want to be back to that physique. Because it's hard. And it's, especially if you're breastfeeding too, you are eating in a calorie surplus and then adding working out to that. Now you're burning even more calories. So now you're eating even more. And you feel like you're just shoving the pig. Like, you're just stuffing something all day. Like, it's like 24/7, I'm eating. And then you get down on yourself because you're like, I'm just eating all of this. But you need to. You physically have to if that's how. Because it takes calories to make calories, like in your milk. And a lot of people will get discouraged by that, or then they'll overeat. So personally, I found myself doing that when I started working out again. I was like, oh, I have to eat more now that I'm working out. But then I was like binge eating, or eating, not nutritiously eating, not really like nourishing my body in the way that I should have been. So that plays a part in it too. And a lot of times they'll say, oh, if you're breastfeeding, it helps you lose weight. No, it doesn't. Not for everybody. Some people, yes, but not for everybody. But I mean, and breastfeeding or not, how you're eating plays a big factor in it. And how you store that weight is different from before. Like, say you didn't store weight in your stomach. Say it went to your thighs. Well, now you have, like, your stomach grew and it's different. You have all that loose skin. You're gonna store more there than you did before because it's loose and your body's like, oh, hey, let's fill it in here, and then it'll go to where you normally used to hold weight. And that's, most people don't think about that because you're like, oh, I hold weight in my legs, or I hold weight in, you know, in my arms, in my back, wherever. Like certain people hold weight differently, but then after you have a kid, your body has already stretched that, and so now you have that loose skin, and it's like you'll store weight in your stomach where you used to not.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I knew like different people like store fat in different ways
Yeah.
and everything like that. And even between men and women.
Right.
It's
Yeah. You
different.
hold it differently. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, but yeah, like I think the common theme here is that like after you like have a baby or even while you're pregnant, your body changes. And so like to like have the expectation that it'd be the same after as before, I think is like an unreasonable expectation. Like you're gonna be different and your expectations have to change because of that. You know?
Yeah. And it's not bad. You're not broken, or you're not like it's not wrong.
Right.
It's real, it's normal, like you're
Yeah.
human. Things have to change. You have to change. You have to evolve with it. And I think that's when you feel like so many people, they see, oh, you know, this fitness influencer, after she had a baby, she had her 6-pack back. Okay, are you her? You don't have the same genetic makeup. You don't have the same history or background. Like, how long was she training before she got pregnant?
Yeah.
That plays a big factor into it too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you hold muscle even if you're not working it as heavy. Like, so say they've been training for 10 years, her muscle is going to hold longer than you, who's only been training for 4.
Yep.
Like, you're going to hold that muscle differently. And so then when she starts working out again, her body's like, oh, we're doing that. Okay.
Yep.
Here, we're back at it. Like, I mean, just like riding a bike kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's your body.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was doing some research because I had to take 2 years off of training because I was traveling around.
Yeah.
And it was like, beforehand, I was like, how much exercise do I need? Because I've been training for a couple of years at that point. And it's like, how much do I need to train still to be able to maintain? I'm definitely not going to grow, but like, how do I maintain this?
Yeah.
And the research was like, you need approximately 1/9 of what you were doing to maintain the muscle mass that like you had before.
Right.
And then once you get back into it, you're much more prepared to. It's kind of like a prehab.
Yeah.
It's like you go and you do stuff so that you can
then you
afterward. Yeah. And that's like what I'm thinking with like pregnancy is like, oh, like maybe you're not pregnant, but then like maybe you should start training if you're like
you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Or,
like,
and even if it's like, I know I don't want kids for 3 years. Okay, you have 3 years to start. Yeah. And it's only like your health, not even just how you look physically, but like how you eat, your mental health, like just your well-being and your health in general, all encompassing, plays a huge factor into your fertility and like being able to get pregnant or have a healthy, safe pregnancy. Like, and even with that, someone who's totally healthy, you know, you don't have health problems, you can have a rough pregnancy. Like, so for me personally, I don't have like any crazy health problems, but I had high blood pressure my whole pregnancy. And so I was high risk pregnancy because my blood pressure. So I would have to go in the last like 3 months of my pregnancy, I had to go in once a week and get my blood pressure taken and a stress test to monitor like the baby's heart rate and to monitor how much fluid I was making to make sure that they had enough fluid to like survive in there. And then, so it's like someone who's per se healthy, you could still have some fluid, but it's like, okay, somewhere down in your genetics, a woman in your family had this, so you can have it too. Yeah. And it's like, so
genetics, man.
Yeah, they get you every time.
They get you.
They get you, yeah. And it's like, and especially like as a woman with pregnancy, I had no idea that could happen. It's like, I've never had any issue with my blood pressure growing up. And then because my mom had it when she was pregnant with me, I had it when I was pregnant. And so and then with each pregnancy you have It could be better. It could be worse. Like, so from here on out, like my next pregnancy, I could be fine, or it could be even worse, and I could go into like the next level of that and be like, it could be no good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's things you don't think about.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Genetic just get you every time.
Who knew? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what girl is like, oh yeah, so my mom has high blood pressure, but only when she was pregnant. So then you're gonna have that in 20 years when you get pregnant, like you're up. Like no, and no one tells you that.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the doctor, you do your little like medical history screening. No one's like, oh, did a woman in your family have this while she was pregnant?
They don't.
So you don't know that. Like growing up as a girl, like even as a teenager, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I knew my mom had that when she was pregnant, but what's that? That has nothing to do with me. Like,
yeah.
I was in her belly. Like, I wasn't. What's that have to do with me?
Yeah.
So then it's like, yeah, it's something that
So you just don't think about.
you don't know, you don't think about, and then you're in that situation. You're like, huh, interesting. Like, I mean, that's all you can do at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, take it and go. Like,
Yeah. It's like they do that with like a lot of other things. Like,
yeah,
your grandfather has this condition.
Yeah.
They died of this thing.
Right.
Like, you're probably going to
Yeah.
have the same thing.
Yeah, or you
Like-
might not. I don't 50-50.
Yeah, it's like,
you couldn't, you couldn't. It's
Yeah.
may the odds ever be your favorite kind of
Yeah.
Like,
Throw some iron.
yeah, throw it in there, yeah. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. So how did you get into like fitness as a whole? Like, so is it just high school sports? Like,
So I started when I was 3. I started dance. Started ballet.
but we don't talk.
We don't know about yeah. That was not my. I mean, I was okay at it, but I'm not flexible. Like, I am not graceful, so it was not pretty to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it was not very elegant. But I have ADHD, so I have crazy energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go. I'm that little. What is it? The Tigger just bouncing everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah, that was me as a
Bouncing
kid.
off the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sports were my outlet.
Ah.
That was just a way to burn off that energy. And when I have something that I'm focusing on and like I'm hands on, I don't see what's around me. Like, so for me as a kid growing up, if I was in sports, I had something to focus on.
Yeah.
Like, that was the one thing that I could hone in on and be like, I know what I'm doing and I know I'm good at this. So it was like, that was my safe space in a way. So I did dance for a while, and then I did soccer for 10 years, and that was just year round, traveled all over. It was so fun. But then my parents they had started me on medication, and which a lot of kids go with ADHD, like it's very common. But then as I got older, we were like, okay, let's not take medication, but I still had sports to ground me, to have that outlet to pour that energy into. So it's just, I mean, my whole life, I've always been in sport. Like, I've never had a sports season in my life that I've not been like either working out or in a sport, so I always, when I don't have that, I can tell the difference in myself. Like, and I feel like after you do it for so long, whether it's a sport or if you're working out, like, it becomes a part of your identity.
Yeah.
Part of your it's a part of you.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, once I graduated high school, I no longer had a sport, but I could work out. So I still had that aspect of like doing an activity, and working out was very hands-on. So I still had that outlet. So that was, I mean, I can't remember a time where I wasn't doing some type of physical activity, whether it's sports. And then as I got older, like once I'm in high school, then you started weightlifting and all of that. So then that kind of, I found my little love of like weightlifting and whatever. But then when I started powerlifting, that was when I really was like, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
To see like, okay, I came in here, I can squat 220 pounds. And then by the end, I was squatting 365 pounds. It's like, at no point ever did I think to myself, I think I could squat 365 pounds. Like, I'm gonna go try this. Like, that's never a thought in your head that's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this weight. Like, I can see myself doing this. Like, I mean, unless you've been weightlifting your whole life. But yeah, so it's just, when I started powerlifting, I really found that love of like just seeing what my body could do, seeing like how far I could go or what different things I could do, whether it's not just the powerlifting form of working out, but more like functional training and adding in mobility stuff, because I mean, everybody needs mobility. Which is hard.
It's so hard.
Mobility is a workout in itself. I feel like so many people just, oh yeah, we're stretching. Like, no, it's different. This is hard. Like, but so it's just, I've always had that outlet of physical activity.
Yeah. So what? So in your personal training stuff, like what's been the hardest thing in terms of, because like you have to, I'm assuming you have to get clients and all that, right? Yeah. Like pretty much all the trainers are doing, you know.
It's like you're advertising yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I feel like that's the hardest part. I am not someone who's like, I want the attention all on me. Like, I mean, I'm very outgoing and like people person. So that part of it, I really like getting to like connect with different people and talk to it. Like, you know, you're working with people in all different walks of life, but having to like put myself up on this platter, like, oh, hey, pick me, check me. Like, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. And like, I hate social media because it's
right.
And it's, I feel like everybody nowadays is like, oh yeah, I'm a fitness influencer. And it's like a little bit like, this is what I do for a living. So that part, like, as being on the professional side of it, is like, you are a trainer, this is what you do. It's hard with social media because everybody and their brother can hop on Instagram and post a workout video.
Yeah.
Is it right? Is it wrong? You don't know.
Yeah.
Like, do they have credentials? Are they actually a trainer? Anyone can say, oh, yeah, I'm a trainer. I trained my neighbor.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, like, you know. So I feel like that part of it is what I hate.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, and even if someone does reach out to you, they could be like, oh, I don't know if you're for real. You know, are you actually going to help me? Am I actually going to get something out of this? Like, people who have had other trainers before in their life, well, it's never worked out for me, so how are you any different? How do I know that I'm not wasting my money? Because it is an investment.
It is.
You know, I mean, it's not, it doesn't come with your gym membership. And I think a lot of people too, they're like, oh, I have to pay extra for this. But you're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
But then they come to, they're like, well, why should I trust you to spend this money on me?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's a valid question. Yeah.
So I feel like that kind of side of it of, you have to advertise yourself to catch people's eye, to bring them in.
You have to sell yourself.
Trust me, come to me, like, pick me. And then you get them, they're like, well, how do I know I can trust you? How do I know you're worth it? You know, it's like, I feel like that's the hard part, is getting them here.
That's, I agree with that. And I see your stuff on Instagram. I'm like, this is pretty great. It's pretty good. Yeah. Like I like the balance that you have on your social media of like your life thing. Yeah. Like with your kid and all that, and then you have like your fitness things. Yeah. And I really like that balance because I feel like part of being a personal trainer is the personal aspect. Right. You're trying to build rapport with people. Yeah. And so for people to see like that side of your life, right? But also like, I'm selling like personal training. Right. I am a personal trainer. Yeah. This is what I do. It's just it's a really cool balance. And I really think it's awesome. That's something that's so big on me is it's like, I don't want to just be like, here's 500 videos of a workout. You know, like you could Google any of this or get on whatever and be like, oh, let me search a squat or search how to do this form or whatever. And so it's like, I want people to see, you know, I'm a real person. I have an actual life outside of this, but this is also my life. Like fitness and training is also a part of my life. Yeah. And just to show them
you can do this too.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, you
that's
know,
really cool. Yeah.
I'm doing this. I have a kid. I have a baby.
Mhm.
Like, so you can do this too.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm doing it, you can do it. If I'm here, you can be here.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
and I feel like that, especially now that I am a mom, most of my clients are women,
Mhm.
and I feel like there's kind of like like you don't talk about it, but there's this respect, and it's like
Makes sense.
we did this.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
It's a
you're a
common
mom,
common
but you're
suffering.
also oh yeah, you're like
Yeah.
bags under your eyes. I haven't washed my hair in 5 days. Like, you know, you get each other,
Yeah.
but it's like. You have two different lives, like as a parent. Even dads, I'm sure, feel this way too. But it's like you have one hat and one life where it's all about your kids, and I'm a parent, I'm a mom.
Mhm.
And then you have this other one where it's like, but I'm still Saraea. I'm not just a mom. So it's like you have to fill both of those cups.
Mhm.
So I want to show people that I can still be both,
Mhm.
even though, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I'm struggling to still feel like me.
Mhm.
While still being a mom and not being like, am I doing enough as a mom?
Mhm.
Like, am I giving enough into my kid? But then at the end of the day, it's like, but if I give too much into him, then I'm not giving into me.
Mhm.
And if I'm not good, like I'm not okay, and I don't feel like the best version of me,
Mhm.
what am I giving him?
Mhm.
Like, if I'm not the best me, I can't be the best mom.
Yeah. Can't give what you don't have.
You know? And even if you don't have kids,
Mhm.
with your job, if you're not the best version of yourself,
Yeah.
you're not putting out the best work that you could do, or the best, you know, whatever it is. If you're not good, you don't feel good, you don't feel confident in what you see in the mirror. What does everybody else see when you're putting out?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, parent or not, if you're not investing into yourself and filling your cup, you can't fill those other cups in your life.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really important, like as human beings, we just go to like a bunch of different things trying to grab for that, like the filling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like something that's really important is like tangibly taking care of yourself, of like exercise
Mm-hmm.
and the way you eat, and because those are impactful
Your
things.
entire life.
Yeah.
It's not just, I have this name brand thing, or it's not something like, what do they call it? Words.
A supplement.
I don't
No.
It's something, I don't know. It's not, I have this designer bag or whatever, it's something that,
I see.
you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
Like, are you still going to have that bag when you're 80 years old?
Mhm.
What are you,
Yeah. What's
you're
gonna
going to
last?
have you.
Yeah.
So what if you put more into you
Mhm.
versus what you're buying or what you're showing off? Like,
Mhm.
I have all these high-end things, or I spend all this money, you go on all these trips or whatever.
Mhm.
But how are you at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have those memories, or you've gone to these places, but like when you're 80, 90, who cares?
Mhm.
How are you when you're that age? How are you at the end of it? Like,
Mhm.
if you're not okay, you might not make it that far, And I feel like there's a lot of people too, older, like retired, that they give up on taking care of themselves in
Yeah.
a physical way, like in what they eat and how they train, or just training in general. Like, I'm old, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, you can.
I see like older people in here all the time. I'm like, that's what I want to be whenever I'm that age. Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I'm like, if you are 60, 50, whatever, and you are that jacked and whatever, I'm like,
Yeah.
kudos to you, dude.
Right.
That is awesome.
Right?
Like, some 20, 30-year-olds, they don't even do that.
It's very true.
So
Yeah.
it's like, if you take care of yourself in your 20s and your 30s, shoot, even in your 40s, even if you're 40 and you're just starting, start. Like, it is not too late. It is a perfect time to start. Because then 20 years down the road, your life is going to be so much better. Like, physically, you can do more. You can just, everything's going to be so much better because you're taking care of yourself.
You move.
You can quite literally move.
Yeah. because I think a lot of people like they get older and they don't like say. I'm thinking of my grandpa, right? He was an electrician, and so like his job is very physical, and then like he retires, and then
you're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people have that, where it's like you're doing maybe a physical job, and then you stop. Yeah, it's like, but what are you still
sitting
doing?
on the couch now? And
Yeah,
I'm enjoying retirement. It's like, but you lived such a different life, and then now it's you're not. Or they get that mindset of, oh well, I look like this, or I am like this. For 50 years I did manual labor every day, so now I'm okay.
I've done my time.
I did my time. Now I'm good.
Yeah.
Not really though.
It's a continual thing.
Yeah.
Like and that's the biggest thing. Like I think with having personal training clients, in my limited experience in ways. Since September. It's like not very long. But still, like from what I'm trying to get through to my clients is that like this is a lifestyle change, right? It's going to be step by step, and you're not going to maybe see a lot of because a lot of them are weight loss, right? They lose weight. And it's like it's a lifestyle change. Like you have to change it step by step by step, and then like maybe 6 months, a year down the road, then you're going to be seeing like the most amount of return on your investment.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like it's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
It's going to be something you do for a long time.
Right. I mean, it's like buying a house.
Yeah.
When you buy a house, you don't own it as soon as you buy it, unless you got that kind of pocket change to spend. But the most everyday normal person, when you buy a house, it's not technically yours. You're paying on it for 30 years. Same with your body and fitness. You're paying on it every month. You're paying mortgage to yourself.
That's a really
so then a year down the road, not 30 years hopefully, but 6 months, 8 months, a year down the road, you're seeing that return of little by little, that progress to then look back on and you're like, look at that. Over 2 years, if you start from 0 to 2 years down, you look back on all those pictures and all that, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You did that.
Yeah.
Like,
and you didn't.
No, you're fine. Yeah, no.
I was like, I'm gonna cut you off.
No, I'm done.
But like even like within that, like your weight loss journey, right? It shouldn't end after like 6-8 months. Whenever you whenever you lose that, it should be continual. But also like you can look back on the lifestyle changes of like I started moving and exercising, and I've changed the way that I eat. And even if you stayed the same weight, right? Ideally, you wouldn't.
Internally, you're better. You're healthier. Like it's changed.
Exactly. Like you probably feel better.
Probably move better even without.
Exactly.
You cleaned out the pipes.
You cleaned out the pipes. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's great. Like exercise and fitness is more than weight loss.
Yes.
It's the way it's a way of life. Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. And that's like I love challenges. Like you'll have like, oh, do a 6-week challenge or like 6 weeks to shred. In 8 weeks you'll have a 6-pack, whatever, And it's like, okay, but then once that client hits that 8 weeks, they're like, okay, yeah, I lost 6 inches, I lost a few pounds, I'm down to pant size, or I can see more muscle definition. See ya, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then 6 months later, they're back at you because they gained it all back.
Yep.
Nothing changed because they didn't stick to it. Even on their own, even if they're not coming back to a trainer, you could do that on your own. Like you had a trainer, they taught you what to do, they educated you.
Yeah. Fall back on that.
Do that. Keep doing that on your own. Or if you have questions, reach out.
Yeah.
Like, shoot them a message. I'm sure they'll be like, oh, hey, so change this or add that, try this.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna have to pay money for a question. Okay?
Exactly.
For those most everyday trainer, it's not you pay by the question.
It's like that's the interesting thing is like I started putting content on Instagram. Like my mom was like super worried. She was like, you can't give all that out for free. And I was like, but this isn't even what I do. Like,
yeah.
I would answer anyone's question anytime for free. Like, you don't have to
you don't have to pay me just to be like, so how do I do this movement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, it's like, I'm happy to show you.
Crazy wrong and hurting yourself, of course I'm going to be like,
yeah.
let me help you. Like, come here. Let me help you.
Yeah, please.
Let me help you. Like, I want to help you for free.
Yeah. It's not like, it's like, oh, like, if you have one question, or maybe even you have multiple questions, as long as it's not like I'm writing a whole program for you and giving you nutritional advice and stuff, like, I'll be happy to answer anything.
Yes. yeah.
Unless they're a really, I don't know, dumb. Unless they're like a big jerk of a person, it's like,
unless you're being good about it. Yeah.
Or even like on the trainer side, like if they're an unreasonable person, then like, they're going to charge you for something as simple as that. But like, they should have a plethora of knowledge that you ask them a question,
they should be able to answer.
That's not going to be their whole repertoire of things that they coach people on.
One answer, and this is all I talk
about.
So,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
No. And even like within trainers, I love, especially here, that it's like, I mean, all of us trainers we're all different.
Yeah.
But it's like, you could go to any of the trainers and be like, hey, this is kind of your niche, like something that you do. What could I do either for myself or even for your client? Be like, hey, do you have an opinion or a suggestion to kind of help me on this? Because I'm kind of lost, or I don't really know.
Yeah.
And it's like 9 times out of 10, most of the trainers here would be like, oh yeah, try this or try this. Like, someone's not like, oh, well, that's not my client. They're not paying me, so I'm not going to give you advice. Like, it's very, we all help each other.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, it's a family, not, you're on your own.
Not like the super like strict like business thing where it's like, I have my things and you can't have it.
Right.
Like, things like that.
These are my projects, not yours.
Yeah. And it's like, that's something that I really love about it. It's like, it's
a family.
Yeah, people care about it. People care about each other.
Right.
It's great.
Even just the members. Like, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone walk in the doors that has been here a few times or been coming for a little bit that doesn't know one person or someone else that's already here doesn't greet them. Yeah. Like, that's not a staff member. Like, just the gym members, everyone talks, everyone's friendly. Like, the environment in itself is just so awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a very upbuilding environment.
Yes. And it's nice to work in.
Yeah, right?
That's something that you want, especially in this field, because I feel like it's such a hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, like, kind of cliche, like, in a way.
Wait, what do you mean? Like?
Or stereotypical, more.
Oh.
So, that's the word I want.
Okay. So, like, are you saying that it's like, you have, like, one end of the spectrum where it's like, one end is like, get out of my way, like, this is mine, like, that kind of thing, versus, like, the other end of the spectrum where it's actually friendly and welcoming.
And even just, like, with trainers, like, I feel like you see so many that are, oh, this is my thing, I'm so cocky about it. They're very, like, big-headed about themselves and, like, their program that they have, that you don't matter. Because, oh, well, you're not at my level. Yeah. Or, like, Baker and Mike. Like,
Will and Mike.
Baker and Mike. Yeah, those students. They've been in the game for a hot minute, but they don't treat you different because you've not. Like, yes, we are on different levels. I do not box. I don't. You'd be like, throw on some gloves and hit that bag. Yeah, you're doing great, dude. Like, that's not my thing. But I don't get treated different because that isn't mine. Like, they don't look at me or look down on me because I don't know about that. Well, like, Taekwondo, I'll be like, I'm gonna go, oh yeah. Like, I have no idea. But it's like, just because we all have our different things or we're on different levels or we've been doing it for, different times, you're not treated differently by it.
Yeah.
Like, because you are a new trainer or you're just starting out in this business, you're not looked down on, or they're not like, we're not going to give you this client, 'cause I don't know if you could take that on, kind of thing. Like, it's, okay, yeah, they want a female trainer, or they want this, they want that. Here you go, have them, take it away. It's not, well, let me help you with this. Let me help you write all this out. It's, if you need help, I'm here.
Yep.
Be free and fly. Like, I think that's super cool and not very common, especially in the kind of gym that we have, like a very specialty niche gym. Yeah.
I agree with that. Like the humility of the guys in here who know,
Yes.
or like anyone in here who knows like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The humility to be able to say, oh, you might not know this, but like I'm willing to share it.
Yeah, like, let me help you.
But I'm not going to hold it over your head as though,
Yeah.
oh, I'm bigger than you.
Yeah, like be a jerk about it
Yeah.
and like make you feel less than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, oh yeah, I'm never coming back here. Like, that was embarrassing and miserable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's a very upbuilding atmosphere.
Yes.
Empowers
It really is. You should join the partner.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This whole thing was an ad.
Yeah. You're welcome.
But yeah, it's like, I've known Will since I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
Yeah.
I don't even look like you.
I was like a tiny little guy. I had a big head, literally, not figuratively.
Yeah. Own it.
Own it.
Yes.
But yeah, so I trained with him even back then, and like I've grown. I've seen like what he's built over these past 11 years,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's amazing. And I've got to see him grow, and now I get to learn from him,
Right,
and it's
and work
like,
alongside of him.
yeah. And he doesn't treat me as it's like, oh, I'm holding all this information in my head, like
Not like,
bigger.
oh, I used to train you, and now he accepts and like pushes you, like wants you to do better, and now you're up there with him. Like, that's so cool.
That's a sign of a good coach.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
it's someone who does know more than you, but they're using that knowledge to push you forward,
Right, to benefit you. Yeah.
rather than benefit
Yep.
themselves.
Yeah. Which in the end, if you're succeeding, he's succeeding. So
Yeah, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
so why not be nice about it? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
Well,
that's super cool.
yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So this was great. Thank you for talking.
It was not nerve-wracking, so I was like, oh, camera talking to people.
That's like the environment that I want to promote is like just chill. It's just a conversation. Like I just want to learn from you. Like you have knowledge that I don't, and like I want to learn from you. And it's the same. It's like I want to keep promoting this atmosphere of like coaches pushing each other forward, and like if I get to learn from you and like share that with people, like that's great. It's awesome. Amazing.
No, I think it's so cool. I'm so pumped for what you're doing. It's so cool.
Thank you.
And it's like there's not a lot of that.
And people get to learn from you, and then they get to take that, and it's not like I'm using that, and that's why I wanted to do it like as a podcast. It's like for two reasons. Like it's in my schedule. It'll be scheduled in your schedule.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like solidified.
Yes.
But then like it's also where like I get to share that knowledge. Yeah. Like it's not just on trying to absorb those things for my benefit.
I looked this up and now I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah. It's like for everyone.
Yes. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.